We have measured several thousand import containers in the port of Hamburg and also together with colleagues in the port of Rotterdam. And what we found is that approximately 3/4 of import containers are contaminated by fumigants and or toxic industrial gases such as benzene, toluol, formaldehyde, many other solvents. If we have a look on the lower occupational exposure levels, that means a worker who unloads a container should not be exposed above corresponding levels. If we consider such occupational exposure limits, we see that approximately 15% of all import containers exceed these limits. That means we have really a large amount of import containers which are dangerous for harbor workers, dock workers, people who do investigations such as the water police, the customs, and so on. Approximately every 200th container has concentrations which are immediately dangerous to health and life. That means if a worker is exposed to such concentrations, he has an extremely high risk to life-threatening damage or diseases, disorders. We saw approximately 30 subjects in our outpatient, and our impression is that this is only the tip of the iceberg. Due to the unspecific effects, most affected workers and even most physicians don't realize the connection between the exposure to toxic gases in containers and the symptoms. I think it's urgently necessary to have a common approach to the problem. If only in one region or in one harbor we take care of the problem, that will be followed. We have such an example. The thing which will follow is that the dangerous container will not go into this harbor, they will go to another harbor. More important is that we have to do more examinations. That means a certain amount of frequency of import containers should be regularly investigated. So we have really the current situation. We know what is in the container and how high are the concentrations. A further urgently necessary step is that sanctions should be brought in force. So far, there are no sanctions. And that's, according to my meaning and my experience, the reason why regulations are not followed in many situations. This policy in Germany does not differ much from the situation in other Western countries. That means we do not investigate import containers as a routine. We do not have detailed studies showing the real risk. For example, there is no study going on, according to my knowledge, referring to the risk of consumers who buy fumigated products containing carcinogenic substances like benzene. I do not recommend to enter a container which was not measured. As already mentioned, we have extremely high concentrations, immediately dangerous for health and life, in approximately 0.6%, and we have approximately 15% of containers with air concentrations above the occupational exposure